Hey guys, DC Multiverse dude here. Something a little different today. I just wanted to take a really quick minute to talk about the McFarlane Collector's Edition releases. Now these have been available for a couple of weeks now. Everyone's got their hands on them. Everyone's got an opinion on them. I just got mine in, they look great. But I have some thoughts. This is not going to be a review. Plenty of people have reviewed these figures and much better than me and much earlier than me. This is just my quick thoughts on this line as a whole because I have some thoughts that I just need to get out. So you can see that I bought the initial three. I'm going to be keeping Alan Scott and Abyss. Superman I'm going to be giving to a friend of mine because it's pretty cool. But probably not for me. I have enough Superman figures in my collection. But I just wanted to talk about these things from a couple of perspectives. The most notable perspective is that of price. This is what's been causing most of the consternation, I think, is that these figures retail for $30 US, which is a price increase over the 20 or 25 US dollars that these things usually cost, as I understand it. In Australia, for a regular McFarlane DC Multiverse release, last year we were paying 35 Australian dollars. Now we are paying 40 Australian dollars. These are closer to 50 or 55 Australian dollars. I've seen them for even higher. So we're talking about a significant price increase. Obviously, no one likes price increases, but what I think is particularly interesting about the collector's edition line is how you look at price. Because if I look at these figures and the price of these figures in relation to other lines, such as Marvel Legends, which are sort of the direct competitor, I think they're actually pretty good. So in terms of the amount of plastic you get in the box, the quality of the packaging, the size of the figures, and you compare it to the average retro carded Marvel Legends, which comes on a paper card with a 6-inch figure, usually, with very limited accessories. There are some exceptions, but I think these days we can accept that Marvel Legends and Multiverse are about the same when it comes to levels of accessories. If I compare these things to Marvel Legends, they're not terrible. They're expensive, but that just seems to be the price we pay as collectors now. If you want to collect action figures, they're expensive. That seems to be what we are asked to swallow. So price relative to other lines, comparable lines like Marvel Legends, fine, I can swallow the price increase. I think what's really interesting is when you look at these figures in relation to other DC Multiverse figures, that we've had this year for $10 less US or more if you're talking Australian dollars. So if I look at any one of these, let's look at Superman. What does he come with in the box? He comes with a card stand, the chain accessory, the figure. This one actually comes with a flight stand, so that's actually really good. So in terms of what comes in the box, it's not terrible, but it's not that much more than what we were getting with our regular DC Multiverse figures. And I think that's part of the issue, is we're being asked to pay more for the same amount of plastic in the box. And we might say, well, okay, there's the card stand, that's extra plastic, but let's face it, it can't be worth much, and it's not going to be of that much value to collectors. I doubt that's really accounting for the price increase. So, Alan Scott, this is basically the same mold, very similar mold to the Dread Lantern figure that came out a month ago. This one comes with similar levels of accessories, but it comes with a card stand and it's $10 more. Makes no sense to me in relation to stuff in a box. So, stuff in the box, I don't see the value. Hi guys, future me here. Look, I said I wasn't going to review these, and I said I was going to maybe look at them another day, but I've opened them up and I just want to give you my quick thoughts. So, Alan Scott is actually a really terrific figure. He feels great in the hand. The paintwork is all really, really good. The lantern is sort of a clear plastic, like a construct. It's not meant to be, so that's sort of weird. This sort of energy construct is pretty boring. It fits on his hand. The card stand and the card, they are what they are. Those stands are useless. But this figure himself, I love the colors. I love the sculpt. The articulation's good. The proportions are good. Overall, just a winner. Same with Abyss. You know, he comes with the card stand, his weapon, and a display stand. There's nothing extra. Yep, future me, here again. In terms of Abyss, this is probably the highlight of this initial batch from this line. This figure rocks. A unique Batman villain, a modern Batman villain. Never had him in figure form. That head sculpt is great. Look at the paintwork. Look at the subtle white paint, giving the impression of glowing, and the way it's sort of glossy paint, and then the sort of the matte hood looks fantastic. All the sculpted detail through the torso, the rib cage, just incredible from top to bottom. All unique parts. Great accessory, really awesome clawed hand. Comes with another sort of grippy hand, but you know, I think this clawed hand is just so expressive. Again, the card and the card holder are useless, but this is the winner of the wave. If you're only going to pick up one, I reckon this is the one to get. You can look at it from the perspective of, well, okay, in relation to other DC Multiverse figures, are these better painted, sculpted? The answer is no. These are well sculpted, generally well painted figures, but there's nothing that would lift them above what we're already getting in the standard line. In my opinion, they are, you know, they're the same. You know, Abyss has very, very little paint. He's got great paint on the eyes. It looks good. The sculpt is immaculate, but there's not an extra like level of paint. Same with Alan Scott. It's you know, really, really nice paintwork, but it's not another level above. So, okay, compared to other DC Multiverse figures, you know, you're not getting much more in the box. So what is really going on here? I think really what's going on here is people are upset because of the marketing and the branding of these figures. These are being marketed as collector editions. They've got the silver logo on the left-hand side, it's special packaging. They're held out to be something special. And what collectors are feeling, I think, is that, well, no, there's actually nothing special about these. Now, let me just read you the press release that McFarlane Toys sent out when they announced these figures. So what McFarlane Toys said is, McFarlane Collector's Edition. With a special focus on a rich and diverse catalogue of characters, Marvel Collector Edition allows the most dedicated fans to complete their desired universe. For collectors, by collectors, coming summer 2023. So what's going on here? McFarlane is essentially saying that these are in-demand figures that people are clamoring for to complete their universes. My interpretation of that coded language is that McFarlane is using this line and the price increase to produce smaller quantities, more limited quantities of figures that he thinks won't sell in the mainstream, as a mainstream release, you know, to complete their universe. So all the figures that we've been clamoring for, Alan Scott, you know, in the next wave, we've got Sinestro and Hawkman, classic versions. What McFarlane seems to be implying is that these wouldn't sell, they would peg warm, he wouldn't otherwise make them, but hey, I'll make them, I'll put them in this line, I'll charge you a bit extra because I produce fewer of them. They're not going to be as well stocked at mass retail, blah, 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 blah. That's sort of what he's saying. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but that's one way of reasoning what he's doing. I would still say if that is what he's doing, he should not be calling these collector editions. You know, they are just not, that branding is doing no one any favors. And so let me tell you why. You know, in that press release, he says for collectors, by collectors. In my opinion, that carries with it a certain set of expectations that these figures they'll have an attention to detail to them that will make them desirable to collectors. Let's look at Superman. The problems with this figure are well documented. You know, he's got the blue sculpted boots that aren't painted, which don't match the cover of the, you know, first appearance of Superman. The belt buckle doesn't have the red loops painted. And there's controversy about whether the belt loops are painted in the comic or not. But like, you know, it's an unpainted sculpt. So like, you know, if you're not going to paint these things, don't include them in the sculpt. Give us a completely unique sculpt that actually fits the character. You know, this is a reuse of the infected Superman body buck. Again, for collectors, by collectors, we'll give you the same buck you've got before. It's pretty lame, and I just think that language of collector's edition for collectors is doing him no favors. I think this needs to be rebranded as something like limited edition or something like that, or, you know, we're going to make fewer of them, or just call them deluxe figures. Even that has a problem, you know, because there's really nothing deluxe about them, right? I think he just needs to sell them exclusively on his store, maybe for a higher price, and we'll all just understand that the reason he's doing that is because he thinks they won't sell. If you think about it in terms of, well, I wouldn't have produced this figure if not for the price increase, I can kind of see it with Abyss. You know, this is a very, very new Batman villain, unknown to many, doesn't have instant appeal, you know, other than just the cool design. I can see that being like, well, we can't produce too many, they're not going to sell. But Superman, really? I mean, this is going to be a popular figure despite the problems. So I just don't get it. I kind of just can't understand where McFarlane's coming from on any angle. You know, there are other issues that we've talked about at length, like, you know, Alan Scott's ring is not on the left hand, like it is in the card art. It's on the right hand, which is just wrong. Things like you know, the lantern is cast in a translucent plastic when it's actually not meant to be a construct. You know, it's actually meant to be a solid object. Those sorts of things, you know. What else is there? I mean, this is complicated further by the platinum variants that he's putting out, and, you know, everyone wants the platinum Superman with the red boots that really, you know, arguably this figure should have come with anyway. The Alan Scott platinum, you know, has got green highlights that don't look very good, and, you know, I don't know who was asking for that, but I feel sorry for the person who got charged more and got a weird looking green tinged Alan Scott. You know, and Abyss, you know, his platinum is white. Now, why you would want this character in white, I have no idea. But there seems like there's games being played, or there's just like a wrong-headedness about this line or this subline, and I just think a lot of it has to do with the marketing, and I think McFarlane needs to reconsider how he's positioning these figures. The next wave looks great. I'm going to get Sinestro, Firestorm, and Hawkman. I'm really into it, but I'm not into paying extra money for it. And, you know, if I am going to pay extra money for it, don't try and fool me into thinking that I'm getting something special. There's nothing special about these. They are cool figures. You've increased the price for a certain number of your figures for some reason. I just wish there was a bit more transparency about what that is and what you're doing to justify it. Anyway, that is my thoughts. Thank you for listening to this rant. I hope I haven't come across as too negative, because at the end of the day, I actually think all these three figures are pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to checking them out. What do you think about these figures? Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm probably going to review Alan Scott and Abyss soon. I'll do a double review, nice and quick. But yeah, the collector's line, I don't know. They're not sparking joy in me. Let me know what you think. And until next time, happy collecting. This video was brought to you with the support of Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles. For a great range of toys from DC Multiverse to Black Series to Marvel Legends, Hot Toys and more, visit Fett's Hideout Toys and Collectibles and use the offer code DCDUDE. That's DCDUDE for an exclusive discount month to month. Could be 5% off or $5 off at checkout. Try the code, see what you get, place an order with Fett's, and you won't be disappointed. And we thank Fett's for their continued support of this channel.